Yeah. Like in this case, I think this is an example of her doing something that was inappropriate.
Hmm.
Her motivations may have been, good and noteworthy, but she did it incorrectly. There is a
Hmm.
protocol, there is a chain of command on a starship,
Hmm.
and she did not follow the chain of command. And it's not like Riker did something. It's not like Riker said to her, I won't tell the captain about your plan."
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is a case of her not doing something correct.
Right, right, for sure. But I don't necessarily think it warrants him, like, being like, to the moon! Like, it's a little.
To the moon, Alice.
Yeah. It's like, that was a little harsh. But yeah, she definitely shouldn't have done that. She could have at least waited until she knew that you were done talking to whoever you needed to talk to and had time to go talk to the captain instead of just booking it over there. But so she says, like, can I speak frankly? And he's like, yes, please, and she's like, you're in my way. And I was like, oh, it would be funny if it was just because he was actually physically standing in her way. But she means like professionally. She's done with him at this point in time, I think, because she's just like, you're in my way, and I'm gonna go through you if I have to, basically. Ooh, she is no more pleasantries. But I mean, if somebody says they're gonna, knock you back a few years, that's some rough words there.
Mm-hmm.
So they go on to the battle bridge, and he tells her that he's gonna play it safe with the Enterprise and the crew. She said, and she tells him again that he's in the way and that he needs to, let somebody who could be a little more risky there. And, he's mildly annoyed by that. Like,
well, she also accuses him of hiding in the shadow
oh,
of
yeah, yeah.
Picard.
True, yes.
And passing up commands. So she's like, basically like, get out of my way of someone who's going to be like basically a better complement to him
Yeah.
as the captain, instead of this first officer who's just like this, who's become like a shrinking violet practically.
Yeah, it's like she does not know how much that's like messing with Riker's mind, because he's already feeling like that, but he's not communicating that to her. He's just taking it out on her, and you guys just need to sit in a room and talk this out. Stardate, it's another one. 43996.2. So we've gone to the next day. It's Friday, the 3rd of June of 2366, and it's 1700 hours. So that means it's like 5:31. I never know if I should be like exact, like 31, or whatever that it says, but I kind of like that it's very exact. They're still in the cloud. That's basically all that happens. Picard still doesn't know why they want him. He starts walking around and he's checking on things. He continues this walking around the ship. He walks into 10 forward. From our angle, we can see him come through the door. We see Guinan over in the corner. He walks over to the window and is looking out, and she, out of the shadow, says, do you have trouble sleeping too? And, he says that it's tradition for a captain to tour the ship before this battle, and he brings up all this, quote-unquote, ancient history, because not all of it's as ancient as others comparatively, like to us at this point in time. But he brings up stuff like Nelson going to Trafalgar, and then like the Roman Empire, and it's like, why couldn't he brought up Watergate or something? I don't know, because there wasn't a captain. But I don't know. It's like, I feel like there could have been something more closer to the time period that this was written to seem like that was still also like ancient times to them. I don't know. They could have made something up from
They do
Xenon
that
5 or
sometimes.
yeah.
I know they do that sometimes too. Like, it's just like what happened when Shakespeare wrote his sonnets, or when Bluggity Blah wrote his famous play on Jure 4. They do that sometimes.
Captain What's His Butt won the Battle of New York.
Captain What's His Butt.
I just can't get into Blubbity Blah. Like, he's too much for me. Always existential crisis.
He's so extra.
She asks if he expects to win. He's like, it's a possibility we can. And so she reminds him that her people have come in contact with the board. Some of them died, but some of them survived. And so there is a chance, but it could take millennia or something, like it could take a long time, but
well, I mean, she definitely brings out the point that, like, even if there's just a handful of humans left, if there's some of you left, then you've still won.
Yeah.
Because you've still kept your culture alive. So even in her case, there's not a lot of her people left, but she's still around and she's still there to tell the story. So, that's kind of what she's telling Picard. Like, even if not everyone survives, as long as some of you do, that's the most important thing.
So yeah, they've been, he thinks that this is just going to be another page in the history book. And then all of a sudden, there's some explosion, and he gets called to the bridge by Worf. So we go to the bridge. They're on red alert. There's red lights flashing everywhere. Riker lets Picard know that there's a magnometric guided charges. Something.
Sure, Jan.
Yeah, I don't know what. Technobabble, and when they show it, it looks like the Northern Lights. I was like, oh, it's Aurora Borealis. Look at that. Their shields are 48%. They rock. I love how they do the, like, rocking over like they got hit or an earthquake or something. It's cute. Picard wants to get the heck out of there. Geordi does some more technobabble about shield harmonics. Then they get hit, and it's like, oh, geez, this is bad. But they prepare to leave, and they ready their weapons, and the Borg follows them. They keep trying to catch them with the tractor beam, and finally they do. Then Borg drones start appearing on the ship. For the time being, a couple of them can get shot because of the phasers, because they've, recalibrated phasers or whatever they've done. And as soon as one is dead, then another one pops up, and then blah, there's back and forth and back and forth. And one pops up in the midst of this and just grabs Picard and is gone. Oh no. So if you're watching this for the first time, it's like, woo, this is not good.
No, yeah, I definitely remember watching this as a kid and just being so like, oh my god, they got the captain!
Right?
How is this going to end? And this being the season finale, and you don't have Netflix, so you just can't watch the next episode. You had to wait.
And it was
months.
3 whole months. It was like 3 months and a week when I looked it up to see how far it was in between. I'm like, that is a rough summer.
Yeah, no, that whole summer you're just like, what happens to Picard? Oh my god, the boy got him.
Sure, the ice cream man is here, but what happened
what about Picard? Picard doesn't have ice cream in the Borg ship.
Right? So, like, Worf had shot one, and Riker had tackled one, and they disappear when the drone that grabs Picard disappears. And so Riker falls to the floor because he was like on top of him, holding him down or whatever, and that's kind of amusing.
I do think it's funny that Worf shoots a phaser at the Borg, and it doesn't work now because they've adapted. And then Riker's like, I know, I'll punch it. And I'm just like, so the phaser didn't work, but you think you can punch it? And it'll, okay, sure, Riker. Sure, Jan, go ahead, try it. I mean, it's just listen, Riker's kind of right. It's just crazy.
So, and Worf does parkour over the back console, though.
He does. He does. He parkours so hard over that horseshoe. He's just like,
And the Borg just basically, slaps him.
I know. Those Borg.
You're supposed to be a Klingon, a warrior race. And the Borg is just like, blink, and you're done.
Oh, yeah, okay. So sometimes Worf also gets a short end of things.
Sometimes Worf is the most powerful crew member, and then at other times it's like he gets pimp slapped by somebody real easily.
Yeah. That's fine. It's fine. We like the show. Buddy. The Borg ship, soon as they've got what they want, they're gone. They're out of here. Everybody on the Enterprise is like, we gotta go. So now Riker's the captain. He's like, let's go. Let's follow him. We see the Borg ship. The drones are taking Picard somewhere. They, turn a corner, and there's everyone in the collective or whatever, in their little, jail cell holding tanks or whatever. That's not the kind. Looks like when people in the space shuttle need to sleep and they have their little straps they strap into. They have those little sort of straps, so then whenever they do their recharge, they don't fall over, I guess.
No, yeah, exactly.
But they're like, you're good at talking to humans. You're going to talk to humans for us, but you're also going to be a Borg. You know, they literally tell him he's going to be the voice of the people. And it's like...
Right.
What?
Like,
So here's where it gets really intertwined with all of the scenes. We go back and we see that the Enterprise is chasing the Borg cube on the bridge. Officers are trying to figure out how long it's going to take to make this weapon work. Riker wants to lead the away team. He wants to take Dr. Data Worf. Like, that's who he calls out. And then Shelby's like, maybe I should do it since I am the Borg expert. Hi.
Yeah, really. Yeah, you should send the Borg expert.
And, you know.
Plus, you know, now that Riker is now the acting captain of the Enterprise,
Yep.
It's really not right for him to go on away missions. You know, that's
Right.
the first officer's job, is to do that so that the captain is not, you know, killed.
The captain cannot fulfill his duties, the first officer.
Right.
So, you know, he's just like, man, no, I want to go. You can't stop me, kind of thing. And Troy's like, hey, maybe she's right.
She's
You're
like,
the
Troy's
captain
like,
now.
she's right, dude.
Sit down. She's like, take a seat.
Yeah, but then Shelby kind of gets that smug look, like, told you so, which is
Yeah.
very, like, teacher's pet, and it's like, shut your face.
I mean, he does
I don't
let her...
always like her.
He does let her go, right? So...
Well, yeah.
So then we see the Borg cube. Boom! You know, it's right there in front of us. And then...
A question about the Borg cube. Like, since it's a cube, like, is there, like, a front corner? Is there a front panel?
No.
Like, because when they followed the Enterprise the first time, like, they kind of turned, like, the corner that was facing them the first time. Like, they kind of turned, and that corner, like, led the chase. So it's like, is there, like, a front panel?
Maybe that's the corner that had operating phasers.
It's their favorite corner.
At the moment.
It's their favorite corner.
Yeah. The other side, the opposite corner, is like the timeout corner. You don't want that.
That corner.
So, now we have the first officer's log. Every once in a while we get that kind of thing. He's not the captain's log yet because it hasn't been official that he's the captain, you know, that kind of thing. Because as far as we know, Picard's still alive. He's just on the other ship. We gotta get him. It's another star date. 43998.5. We are Saturday, June 4th, 2366 at about 3:30. So it's like 3:28 is what it's you know, and 51 seconds, so 3:29. So they're still in pursuit of the Borg. We know they're heading towards Earth. And that's the heart of the Federation, so it's a bad thing, because they could just F some S up. They
can fudge some boo hockey up.
Right. And in the transporter room, Worf hands out phasers with the new frequencies added to him to Data, Shelby, and Dr. Crusher. So the real reason Dr. Crusher was included in the away team is that Gates McFadden was like, hey, Pillar, I'd really like to, you know, fire a phaser. I think that'd be really cool. And he's like, gotcha. Even though it would make sense because their captain has been captured and they should send a medical person, but not necessarily their head of
their
medical.
chief medical officer.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
maybe she shouldn't go.
But, yeah, maybe she shouldn't go, but also she probably cares more about him because they've been friends for so long and, you know, sexual tension and all that between them. Again, we're talking about how the Borg's going to be able to adapt quickly. They can only shoot 1 or 2 times with this phaser before they're all gonna know what frequency it's on. They may not find them a threat because a lot of times when humans are around the Borg, but of course they've only got 2 humans in the situation, but that's fine. They just ignore them because they don't really want them. They take over whole civilizations, not like 1 or 2 or even 4 people at a time or whatever. But they could see them as a threat, so they could bother them. So everybody is on alert. You know, Riker, of course, is like, don't make any unnecessary risks. And when they're beamed to the cube, Data, no. Worf, it was Worf, I remember, it's usually Data, but it was Worf that looks for signs of life and says it's inconclusive, and I'm like, there should at least be 2. Like, it shouldn't be inconclusive because there are 2 right in front of you.
Right.
But we'll just go with it. You know, they kind of quickly walk around to different places. They see Borg in their cubby holes powering up or whatever.